Have you ever tried to return to a place you loved as a child, only to discover that the place remembers you less than you remember it? There is a particular ache in that realization, a feeling like opening a storybook that once felt like home, only to find the colors faded. The page is thinner, the character is smiling at someone you used to be. Kamome Kushima enters Hairi's life with that ache wrapped in a smile. She arrives on Torishiroshima like someone chasing both a memory and a promise, carrying a suitcase that seems too light and nostalgia that seems far too heavy. Somewhere on this island, 10 summers ago, she and her childhood friends hid a treasure. Not gold, not jewels, just a piece of innocence they thought they would return to someday. Kamome came back, even if the world hasn't kept pace with her. Welcome back to our 5-part video series on Summer Pockets. Today, we will be talking about Kushima Kamome and the treasure you can't go back to. I hope you will enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed doing part 1 and, well, let's start. So Kamome doesn't just appear, she bursts into the story. She sends her suitcase rolling down a hill, rides it straight into the ocean, and surfaces with a laugh that feels impossibly bright. Hairi panics, Kamome sparkles, and in that strange chemistry, her entire arc reveals itself. Everything about her feels slightly off-kilter in the most endearing way. She speaks to Hairi like they already know each other. She pulls him into her pace, not the other way around. She flusters him just by being fearless, and she carries a pirate cat emblem with the seriousness of a noble crest. But beneath her playful energy, something feels displaced. Kamome isn't here to explore the island. She's here to retrace it, to follow a map she drew 10 years ago. A map of secrets, games, promises, and a treasure her younger self believed would still be waiting for her. Kamome has returned to find the version of herself she left behind. Before Hairi's summer began, before the island felt like a place suspended between memory and light, there was a little group of kids. Taka, Tsubame, Hayato, Suzume, and Kamome herself. They called themselves the Higanekos, a tiny, homemade adventure club for children who believed summer would last forever. They made a pirate flag, they crafted clues, they whispered legends about a hidden treasure ship waiting to be discovered, and they promised, when we grow up, we'll meet here again in 10 years. But childhood promises age, kids drift apart, summers stop returning the way they used to. Everyone moved on, except Kamome. She kept the promise, she came back, and she never stopped believing. But the heartbreaking truth is, she's the only one who remembered. And as she retraces the clues with Hairi, something uncanny begins to happen. Hairi experiences deja vu. Moments feel familiar despite never happening to him. Memories flash like ripples from someone else's past. Because Kamome's presence isn't ordinary, it pulls him into her story. A story written by a child who desperately wanted to hold on to the summer she never got to finish. Halfway through the arc, Kamome's energy falters. Her steps get slower, her breath shortens. She hides discomfort behind a smile. The truth emerges in fragments. Kamome has been sick for most of her life. Hospitals, not playgrounds, were her home. She missed school, summers, plans, friendships, everything children aren't supposed to miss. And the suitcase, it's not just quirky storytelling, it's literal. Small case she could manage alone during hospital transfers. A container for every place she wished she could go. When she fell into what her mother calls an eternal sleep, a deep coma, her body was taken overseas for treatment. But her heart remained here. And it's her consciousness, her memory, her desire that returns to Hiroshima through the glowing white butterflies that haunt the island's summers. Kamome isn't fully alive in the physical sense, but she's not dead either. She's suspended between worlds, kept afloat by a promise she never stopped believing in. And when the treasure chest finally opens, we find not gold or jewels, but a simple drawing of a ship, a child's treasure, a summer frozen in time. Kamome cries, not because the treasure is small, but because she finally remembers why it mattered. It wasn't about finding something, it was about returning to someone she used to be. Kamome's story isn't only about searching for a pirate ship, it's about searching for the part of herself she left behind. But to understand this, we need to speak honestly about what the anime hints at. Quietly, softly, beneath the humor and the running and the childish pirate slogans. Kamome isn't just a quirky travel. She's a girl whose body lies far away, resting in a hospital bed. She has spent years in fragile health, her childhood shaped more by imagination than physical freedom. Her return to the island isn't entirely physical. It's a mixture of memory, longing, and the island's strange way of welcoming those with unfinished summers. So when Hyrie follows the white butterflies into the hidden cave, he isn't just following a clue in a treasure hunt. He's crossing a threshold, and in that liminal space, part memory, part dream, part reality, Kamome appears before him. Not a ghost, not a illusion, but a part of her that stayed behind when her body was carried away to the mainland years ago. The anime never spells this out in sharp detail, it leaves it as a feeling, the sense that the island holds on to people who loved it deeply, especially children whose summers ended too soon. And so the treasure they find together isn't the pirate ship itself, it's return. The return of a promise, the return of a girl's childhood wonder, the return of a summer she thought she had lost forever. Later, after the island summer concludes, we learn her body lay comatose in Finland. The story implies her awakening, but it remains unshown, leaving us to imagine the day her legs stood firm again. Every Summer Pocket's route is about healing a different kind of wound. Kushima's wound is absence, a decade-old promise left hanging in the air. Kamome's wound is interruption, a childhood that ended before it was ready to. And Hyrie, who arrived on the island calling himself a wounded bird, finds in her a mirror he wasn't expecting. Like Kamome, he has memories he closed the door on. Like Kamome, he ran away from the place where he once felt small. Like Kamome, he lost a summer, the summer when everything began to hurt. But by walking beside her, by letting himself be pulled into her adventure, he remembers how to feel wonder again. Kamome teaches him that time doesn't heal by moving forward, it heals by circling back, by returning to the places where we froze, and giving them one more chance to breathe. Her pirate flag isn't just a symbol of adventure, it's a symbol of continuing, even when you are scared, even when you are lonely, even when the people around you move on faster than you can. Kamome's smile says, let's keep going even if our wings are small. And that is why this arc sits so early in the story. Because Hairi needs someone who remembers how to be child, so he can remember how to live. Kamome's summer ends the way childhood summers always do. Quietly, suddenly, like a page closing itself. But Hairi doesn't leave with sadness. He leaves with something brighter. The sense that a promise kept even years too late can still change the shape of your heart. And next, the islands opens another door. A girl who sings in the lighthouse at sunset, a girl whose smile hides decades of hesitation, and a girl whose summer is not about returning, but about running out of time. So, part 3 will take us to Tsumugi Wenders, the girl suspended between staying and leaving. So, if Kamome taught Hairi how to look back, Tsumugi will teach him how to let go. And I'll see you there next time. So, see you sooner rather than later.